back to the Body Art Show. I'm Julie Tattam from the Global College of Body Art. Tonight we have the final interview in our series of chats with the Skin Wars cast. Tonight we are excited to present the winner of Skin Wars, Natalie Fletcher. Before we talk with Natalie, let's have a look at some of the highlights of Natalie on the show. Congratulations!
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Are you on top of the world?
I'm on top of the freaking world right now. It's incredible.
So
I'm still not believing it. I'm just waiting to wake up.
And how did you keep the secret for so long so well?
Well, we were under a pretty heavy contract.
Yeah.
That helped. But then I also really wanted to surprise everyone.
Yeah.
The idea of knowing something that no one else knew was really cool.
And so when you watched the episode, did you relive all those feelings of winning again?
Oh my gosh, yes. I just started bawling. Like there's a video on YouTube that you can see of I was with probably 100 friends. I gave this little speech beforehand and I said, no matter what happens, it was a great experience.
Yeah.
I loved it, and so I think everyone kind of assumed that I got second or third.
Oh.
And so when I won, the whole room shook. It was incredible.
Oh, you'll never forget that moment.
Never, absolutely not.
So when the girls turned around and it said Natalie, how did you feel?
I just fell into Shannon's arms, my knees went completely weak. I was up there and I was shaking so bad, and it was over a month of just body painting every day and being filmed all the time, and your brain never stops thinking about art. And so this was the final moment, and then those girls turned around and all I had to see was the end. I didn't even read my full name. I just saw the end and just freaked out. It was so cool.
So you're known on the show as the master of creativity. I remember you said you always ask yourself, what can I do to make it weird? I love that. Have you always been creative?
I went to a very classical realism painting, art school boot camp. And so we were all painting the same thing in the same style a lot. And I told myself, when I finish with school, I'm going to be unstoppable because I want to do things that people have never done, because I spent 4 years doing the same thing everyone else was doing just to learn the technique of it. And so when I was able to do my own thing, I went crazy. Well, that's how I ended up getting super weird on the show with the sandwich that had the internet hating me. I loved it. I still I don't care what the haters say. I loved this sandwich, and it was really fun working with gear because we left on such that crappy note, and so that whole episode I had a great time, and the guest judge was Joanne Gare, who is my hero.
Everyone loves Joanne Gare, right? But you seem to especially love her. And she said to you, I'm blown away by your talent. And you look like you crumbled with the excitement, right?
Oh, 3+ years ago, I think I sent her an email when I had only been body painting for not very long. I probably had 10 or 15 pieces, and I sent her all of my images and just, like a total fan, just telling her how much I loved and adored her, and I asked advice on her favorite types of paint and where she studied, and I a total fan, and she actually replied to me, which is incredible. She replied with just a genuine response. She answered everything that I asked her, which is I will never forget that, because now I'm getting a lot of emails from people, and a lot of I've had quite a few from teenagers and from young aspiring artists, and they're asking me the same questions I was asking Joanne Gare a few years ago. And and so I'm trying to make it an effort to respond to every single person that emails me inquiring about the art, because my hero did that for me.
So speaking of compliments from your idol, there was this moment on the camouflage challenge where it felt like a roller coaster when Craig Tracy said, "This is not a good painting." And everyone was like, "Oh," and he said, "This is a great painting." And that was just amazing, right? Was that a roller coaster to hear that?
That was the coolest moment of the show for me. Like, I mean, other than the winning thing.
Yeah, the
But
winning thing.
the, the winning thing was pretty cool. But the episode 2 where I was able to camouflage, which is what I actually do the most of with
Yeah.
body art. I tried so hard to kill it, and I had a really hard backdrop. Not all of the viewers realize how hard that is, but those of us that work with body paint know that you can't just paint white on top of black and it pops. Body paint doesn't work that way. And so when I looked at those wine bottles after I traded with Angela, and I was like, oh crap, like what was I thinking? But that was so hard, so hard.
Yeah.
So after going through just the most difficult camouflage I've ever done, and then having somebody say that it was great, and not just somebody, but Craig Tracy said that it was great.
So the other thing I remember about you throughout the show is that you were so brave. Like, as a painter myself, there are things that are so hard, like hands. But you think, well, I'll pick the hardest thing and I'll paint it hands and underwater and things like that. Is that something you love to do? Just put yourself right out there.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Like, I knew that our judges on the show, they've been in the industry and they've seen things done before, which I took that into consideration. Even though America has not seen all of these things done, I knew that Craig has, and I knew that Robin has, and RuPaul's no stranger to it. So part of me was like, I'm gonna try and do things that I've never seen. Even though we weren't allowed to use the internet. Usually I like to use the internet and make sure, I get some reference pictures and then make sure that this is something that hasn't been done before. We didn't have that luxury on the show. And so I just had to go really weird with it to make sure that it's definitely like not been done before. And and sometimes it helped and sometimes it really hurt me. But
which challenges do you feel it hurt you?
The team challenge with Dutch and Felly, that was not my proudest moment on the show. As an artist, I don't know if other artists feel this way, but like I have to really like and be like into what I'm doing in order to execute it well. And the Dutch's idea for the mythical creatures, I just wasn't really feeling it, and I really wanted to give my own input to it, but at the end of the day, just not my favorite episode at all.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the whole thing with gear, just so emotional and like destroyed me. That was a really, really hard. It was a really hard episode.
It looked hard. You both were so emotional. In fact, you were so emotional a lot on this show. You're no stranger to tears. Do you think that artists are more prone to tears because we've got to be raw to tap into that creativity?
I am, if you ask anybody that knows me, I'm actually like not a crier at all. I'm very emotional, but most of the time it's in like an enthusiastic way. I get like overly excited about things, like it drives me. I'm ridiculously passionate, but on the show, my emotions kind of felt like they were in the back of my throat the whole time, the lack of sleep and the lack of communication. But because of all those emotions, it definitely drove the creativity, because I didn't have outside influence. I wasn't allowed to, walk down the street and, people watch or get on the internet and just surf the internet for a little bit, which sometimes can inspire me. I wasn't allowed to do any of that. So you really had to like dive deep into your soul just to come up with a concept. And all it would because you're putting so much of your heart and soul onto your piece and then you're getting judged for it, it took nothing to make me cry. I'm surprised that more people didn't cry on the show, because it really, like, you basically are so vulnerable up there, and you have so much of yourself on your model, on the stage, and it's on television. You know that it took nothing to make me cry. And the thing with gear, you know, I was bawling, and we got a lot of there was a lot of internet stuff about what was going on, but really it's just in that bubble, in that reality bubble, those 10 people are your best friends. You know, like, they're you it's not that you forget about your family, it's not that you forget about your life, but for the 30 plus days that you're there, you know, the further it gets, the more submerged you are with those people, and they're going through the same shit you are, and so you get really close to those people. You do. And so, yes, okay, long answer short, I was total crybaby.
So,
yeah.
in the house, how was it living with a whole bunch of creative people all going through that? I mean, I'm surprised there wasn't more bloodshed.
Those are 9 people that I feel like I went to battle with, you know,
Yeah.
and we'll just be friends forever. Like, I know that it looks like on the show that occasionally I didn't get along with, you know, Dutch or Mythica or Felly, but I mean, truthfully, that was just under pressure. Like, we all actually we really like each other.
So speaking of emotional moments, how amazing is your boyfriend Todd? He said when you were on stage and he was behind the set, he said, "Look how beautiful she looks up there." I was like, "Oh." Is he always like that?
Oh, he is. He's my #1 fan, and he is so supportive. And the poor guy has, seriously, he's pretty hairy, and he has shaved his whole body for me multiple times, just to let me practice my painting, and just because he super supports me. And, you know, like, we've been together 5 years, but he still looks at me like I'm some kind of supermodel.
So in the Face Your Fear challenge, you painted yourself as Todd, and you said that your fear was that you were going to lose him on a mountain expedition. What does he do for a living that he's on a mountain?
Well, so he's in school still for he's in the outdoors program here in Oregon, and he takes classes. He does mountaineering classes, like guiding classes. He's a mountain bike coach and guide, and so he's always up on that freaking mountain with no cell phone reception. You know, and so if I don't hear from him, I'm like, okay, I don't know. Sometimes my mind goes into, you know, a really terrible place. But RuPaul, actually, on the show, when I did that piece, he was like, "Girl, you cannot manifest that." He was like, "You got to get over that. You got to think positive when he's out there." And I mean, he's right.
He must have found it really hard to live without you for a month.
You know what it did help is now I travel a lot. And before the show, you know, Todd would get kind of sad and, you know, call me and say how much he misses me and that he hates that I'm traveling and stuff. But now, nothing will ever compare to that. So, at least the show did that for us. You know, nothing will ever be that hard again.
So you said on the reunion show, you said life is forever freaking changed. So how do you think your life's going to change now? $100,000, man.
$100,000. Like, it's nuts. I mean, it's nuts. It's like 100 times the amount I've ever had in my bank account. Like, truthfully, I've been wanting to do a lot of things with body art for a long time, but you know, in order to make money, you have to have money a little bit.
Yeah.
So I've had all these ideas and I've not been able to execute them, and so now I totally get to.
So I heard that you've got this great project in mind, 100 bodies in 200 days. Tell me about that.
100 bodies in 200 days. I'm going to start it in the South. So it'll be paint one day, travel the next, paint one day, travel the next. And I'm going to do that for 200 days, painting 2 people in each state. And it's going to be insane. And I'm probably going to end up having, you know, like dreadlocks by the end of it, like that type of on the road camping and traveling and painting every day type thing. But you know, what better time to do it? Like I just won a huge body painting competition. I have the money to do it now, and I have a couple really badass sponsors, you know, where I've got this incredible paint to do it. I've got a ton of people supporting me. And the second I said it, I already was getting emails of people like, you know, I live in Louisiana. I'll be your Louisiana model. I live in, you know, so people are already jumping on board, which is what I was hoping. I was hoping that that would happen. And so I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna make it happen. You just wait.
Great.
You just wait, Julie. It's gonna be there next year.
And you're gonna make a documentary and a book about it as well.
I do. I mean, that's the goal. That is really the goal. Any kind of I don't want, not that the world would forget, but I don't want to take body painting out of the public eye. Like, I want to just keep putting it out there and keep pushing it, because, you know, not even 2 years ago, I had my Facebook page deleted because of nudity, and now it's on the Game Show Network, which is awesome, you know, and so now it's in the eyes of young kids and very old people, and everyone's starting to accept it. And so this is the moment to just like go out there and get it and show people that it's just so cool.
Yeah, you put out a request that you want to paint Jimmy Fallon and the Roots on his shows. How's that going?
Yes,
what are your chances?
Jimmy Fallon and the Roots. That's my dream. It's been my dream. Ever since we shot the show, I was like, man, that would be so cool if they were like, the winner of Skin Wars on Jimmy Fallon, and I get to paint the Roots, and then I get to like jam with the Roots. I mean, I've been a Roots fan for years, and I've been a Jimmy Fallon fan since he was doing, you know, stand-up comedy. Like just the chance to like get to meet them and like hang out with them and paint them would just, yeah, that'd be the dream, right? And I have a couple like big dreams. Like I think I told you earlier in this that like I kind of suffer from something called like over enthusiasm, and I just sometimes I get really excited and I really like kind of tell myself like these things will happen, you know, but I told myself, hey, you're gonna get on this show, and then I got on, and then I told myself, hey, you're gonna win this show, and I freaking won. And so when I say things now, I'm like, hey, you're going to go on the Jimmy Fallon show and you're going to paint him and the Roots. And then I say other things like, you know, you're going to paint somebody, you're going to paint a beautiful supermodel, and they're going to be in Vogue magazine one day. Like, I think I dream really big, but how else are you supposed to dream? You know, like my nightmare is that I'll end up like a bank teller at like Bank of America, and I'm counting people's money and nobody is making art, and you know that's kind of my nightmare. So so I'm just gonna go in the opposite direction and dream way big.
That's awesome. You're so inspiring. You've inspired so many people now.
I hope that there's a whole new generation of future body painters out there, you know, 11 and 12 years old, just like jonesing to get their hands on some body paint.
Totally. You know, actually, my children last night, we were talking about how I was talking to you today because they're in love with you. And my daughter said to me, can we do a Skin Wars challenge tomorrow, Mummy? So I'll paint your back, and then Joshy, her brother, you can turn around and Joshy can judge it, and I can be Natalie.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. That is the whole reason of the show. Like, that's the point. That is so awesome. Well, tell your kids this. Mwah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Natalie. It was so fun talking to you. And I wish you the very best for your 100
Julie.
buddies.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you. Well, that's it for tonight's show. Thank you for watching. I'm Julie Tattam from the Global College of Body Art. Good night.